This is going to be worth the price of admission. Here we go.
In this episode, I chat to a bloke that fell in love, got dumped, and then ran straight back into those loving arms again. Andy Duffin, thanks so much for your time. Absolute pleasure being amongst the Rotaries here with you, because they are very special cars, and just like the Ford and Holdens, people have this passion for Rotaries. But before we get to where that passion came from, we need to cut straight to it and talk about your big crash, because it was one of the lowlights / highlights of this season's racing. You were at the V8 Supercars, and over 200 kilometres an hour, you go into the wall in turn 1. Talk us through that.
Yeah, notorious. I've become notorious from that crash. It's gained a lot of publicity, which is sort of good and bad. We were having a great weekend. We were having a really good weekend. I've been driving Darren Greenslade's car. He's a fantastic fella. Let me drive his car for him. We were having a few issues through the weekend with handling and stuff. We found we had a broken shock in the rear of the car.
Okay.
So we were fighting that issue. The car was fighting us a little bit. Well, we were pretty happy, and it was going really well. We were actually hanging on to the big boys and having a good time, as you do at the supercars in front of a lot of people, you know. Come to the last race on Sunday, and they'd reduced us to a 5-lapper because I think there'd been an incident in the Utes or the New Zealand V8s or something. So we were a reduced race. Looking forward to getting out there. I think I was a reverse top 10, so I think I was starting on about 6. Yeah, just went out and did the warm-up lap, got on the grid, and off we went, and everything felt good. And we were coming up on some lap traffic coming down the chute, and I think Cameron Jones was outside me. Everything was all good. We were flying down the straight, catching up the back markers, and as soon as I hit the brake, the car turned hard right. So we still don't know to this day, Craig, what actually happened. We don't know what broke. There was so much broken stuff on the car after the accident that we can't really pinpoint one thing. All we know is that the car just turned hard right. So something failed.
And at that point, you were a passenger.
Absolutely. It all happened so fast that all I remember is hitting the brake, the car turning right, and I was in the fence. It was like split second, and kissed off the first fence, and I broke my wrist at that point on the steering wheel. So, not that I felt it at that stage. Still had full opposite lock on, trying to turn left away from the first fence, and I think the car picked up speed when it hit the first fence, and then it went straight across the track, virtually head on into the next fence.
Okay, so then you're in the wall and the adrenaline's going through the body, and you're sitting there wondering what's happened and what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming, is that right?
Yeah, it's those few seconds after the crash, you sit there and you think, wow, that was massive. I'm starting to feel the pain. So instantly my back was hurting, and I thought, oh no, I've broken my back. Well, something really bad has happened. So I'm sitting there trying to catch my breath because I've obviously got the wind knocked out of me. So I was sitting there, taking stock. My hand started to really hurt, so I obviously realised that was broken. My leg felt like it was broken, and I was struggling to catch my breath. So I'm thinking, something's bad. And I sort of sat there going, I can move my hands, I can move my arms, I can move my legs, so I must be okay. You know, okay, I'm a bit hurt, but I'm okay. And I sort of went, phew, you know, after that big hit, I'm still here. Because it did flash before my eyes, definitely, as I was going into that second wall, this is going to be really big and it's going to hurt.
So you now got to that point, and that what you've just explained there in probably 60 seconds or so would have only taken 5 seconds in reality for you to analyse yourself.
Yep.
Did you sit there at any point and say, come on people, get here, get here?
Yeah, it's funny because where I stopped, there was 2 marshals right beside the car, right on the other side of the fence. And I was waving to them frantically, you know, come and help me, come and help me. And of course they couldn't do anything. They were just sort of just saying, you know, it's all right, help is on the way sort of thing. And it felt like forever for anyone to get there. I was sort of sitting there panting, kind of trying to catch my breath, taking stock, moving around a little bit to see what was going on,
and yet it wasn't forever.
No, absolutely not. It felt like forever. It really did.
So then what happens? What was the routine that happened to you while you were sitting in the car?
So while I was sitting there, you know, the car's an absolute wreck. The bonnet had gone, the guards were all over the place. This engine was smoking, and I thought, man, if it catches fire, I'm going to struggle to get out.
Yeah.
Because at that stage I had flicked my belts off, but I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know if I can get out of here. I suppose if I probably had to, I would have. And then all of a sudden, there's this guy right next to me, and he climbed in the passenger door, and it was one of the ambulance guys, and he was amazing. Absolutely amazing. He just got in there and he just said, look, calm down, we're here. What's sore? What's happening? Went through it all. Right, we'll look at this. You know, you're okay. It's all good. You've got a few broken bones, but you're okay.
And this is something I would like to go over, because there's probably people out there early in motorsport who've gone, oh, what if? What's going to happen? But the fact is, and you've proven it,
yep,
someone's there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the car actually held up internally really well. Like, the structure of the roll cage did its job absolutely brilliantly. You know, the inside of the car, although it looked like a bomb had gone off in it, because the impact into the second wall at 200k head on just blew everything to bits. But I'm still here. And I had a Hans device on, I had a good helmet on, I had good belts, so I think that's what saved me.
And then a joyride in a helicopter.
Yeah.
And a week of R&R.
Yeah. 8 days in hospital. I had a punctured lung, 5 broken ribs, I'd broken both bones on my right wrist, so that has to be plated back together with a nice piece of titanium. And I had a really nasty puncture wound in the inside of my right knee, which was from the top of the gear stick.
Onto your right knee?
Yeah, so when I hit the second wall, the seat mount broke and ripped the seat out of the floor, and I got flicked into the passenger side of the car. So all of my body went across the tunnel.
Okay, wow is probably the only description. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so the impact was that massive, and the seat probably, to be honest, wasn't anchored as well as it should have been.
Okay.
But it actually tore the seat to bits. It was a fiberglass seat, and it
but at the end of the day,
I had the right gear on, and I had all that stuff in there, and I'm still here, so I'm thankful for that.
And obviously your family would have gone through more emotion than you would have.
Yeah, unfortunately my family, at the supercar meeting, obviously we're all pitted in that area behind the grandstand, and everyone trundles up to watch on that little embankment beside the grandstand, and that's right where my family was standing, my 2 children and my wife. And my wife, funny, she says, I watched you coming down the straight, and I sort of thought, oh, this is all good, you know, he's coming up on straight, it's no problem, and turned to talk to someone, and then all of a sudden the massive crash, and it was me, of all people, in the fence. And yeah, very traumatic for them.
It would have been. So let's move on to your recovery now.
Yep.
Before we get to the point where we try and discuss what on earth put you in a car in the first place.
Yeah.
But your recovery level is where?
I'm still recovering 4 months later. I'm still having physio and seeing some specialists. I actually fell down some stairs when I was starting to recover, and has made things worse. Yeah, trying to do too much too early.
Right.
And I was carrying something down some stairs and missed about 3 stairs and fell down. So,
lesson learnt.
I was so popular at home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The support level probably went down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the wrist is all good. The ribs are still giving me trouble, as they do apparently.
Okay.
I've never had broken ribs before, but.
Okay, so you put yourself out in a race car, 200 plus kilometres an hour.
Yep.
But that's what race car drivers do.
Absolutely.
Whether they're professional, semi-professional, or weekend warriors. That's what you guys do, and girls.
Yep.
How did you get to the point of wanting to be a race car driver? Where did it all stem from?
I never did go-karts. I never came from a motorsport family. I played lots of sport growing up. Played cricket to a high level, and I also played soccer, played football. So never really was interested in cars until I was
That's almost polar opposites.
Absolutely. I always had Mazdas. I was a massive rotary nut as a teenager.
Okay.
So I've always liked having cool Mazdas as a street car. And then some friends of mine were running an Escort in SS2000. And they said, come along and watch. I'd never even been to the racetrack, didn't even know where it was.
How old were you when that happened?
23.
Right.
Never been to the racetrack, didn't even know where Pukekohe was. And came along and watched it and thought, man, this is fantastic. You know, he had a little Mark 1 Escort with a 1600 and he was having a ball. So I had an old RX-7, right, we'll have a go at this. Ripped it all to bits, put a roll cage in it, and started right there.
Just like that, and
Just
the bug
like that.
was caught.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was it. Cricket out the window, football out the window.
Yeah, I sort of carried on doing a bit of stuff like that, but motorsport sort of took over, and you know, as a young fella, it's expensive. So I struggled to start with, and I only did bits and pieces and what I could afford.
Yeah.
So, you know, we just sort of really enjoyed it. It was low level, low key, get out and have a skid, you know, it was good.
So what was the bug? What was so enticing compared to, say, going out there and what, were you a fast bowler? Were you a batsman?
A bit of both, yeah.
Bit of both. Okay, so you got your adrenaline rush doing that,
Yep.
and then an adrenaline rush obviously doing the car. Why the bug for that?
You can't beat that adrenaline rush in a car.
Okay.
There's something about it. Once you get in and you want to go faster, and I'm a really competitive person, so for me it's all about doing really well. So when I do something, I like to do it really well, and I go to win. I race to win, and I guess that competitive side of me comes out. And to win, you've got to go fast, and then you want to go faster. And it's just a bug, and you catch it, and you know, you just really can't get out of it.
So when did the first success come then? If that was your attitude going in,
Yep.
and you started off low key because you didn't have the money to set up,
Yep.
but then things started to come right and you worked, obviously like everyone, you learn, well, I can bypass this, bypass
Yep,
that,
yep.
get
You
my
learn the
speed
tricks.
out of this. When did it suddenly then become, I'm here to win, rather than I'm here to learn or here to have fun? Not saying you don't have fun and you don't
Yep.
learn, but you get what I'm
Yeah,
meaning.
absolutely. I think right up until my late 20s, I just had
Okay,
fun.
right.
And then I had a family, and I ran a reasonably successful business, so I had a bit of cash.
Right.
And I went back and I looked at Pro 7 racing, and I thought, it's Mazdas, I'm going to buy another car. I had no car at the stage, I'd sold up and done the family thing. And I bought a late model RX-7 and got stuck into it and won the New Zealand Champs first year out. So I think with a bit of money behind me and knowing how to run a business and stuff, I think helps you be with your planning and your, you know, how you go about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you visualize, you know, you want to win a championship, so you have to do this, and this is the process you go through. And running a business is very similar. So it started right there.
And so you took that directly into motorsport.
Yep.
Were you, for want of a term, anal about your preparation? Were you a spreadsheet kind of, this is how the weekend's going to go? Or were you like, this is a rough idea?
Yeah,
Or,
I knew where I wanted to go.
okay.
So, and I had goals. And Craig, I can't turn spanners. I have
Right.
no idea. And I'm the luckiest guy because I've got a bunch of mates who are just amazing, and they give me all their time. If they didn't do it, I wouldn't be there.
Okay.
So they don't actually let me touch the car now. I'm a pure driver because I tend to leave stuff loose and miss things out. And so the first year I did it, I actually did it with my wife, and I had young children, and we went to the track and we had a ball. But we, you know, I wanted to win, so we put our best foot forward, and I had a workshop preparing the car for me, and we took it to the track, and I focused on driving.
So you lifted a level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So that was the late model RX-7.
Yep.
And you won your first year out. What year was that? That would have been in,
06.
casually look, 06. Look
06,
at a
07,
picture.
yeah, it's on the wall.
07. Did you stay in that particular car right through to now?
No.
No. What's been your steps?
So I won first year up, and then I stayed and did the next season, and then I decided I was going to build a car for SS2000, some more modified, something a little quicker.
That bug.
Yeah, a little bit faster. So I was going to have a year off, and then I got offered a car to drive in the older RX-7s. So I ran that and won the New Zealand Champs in that, thanks to the guys who prep it for me.
Yes.
You know, it was a great car. And meanwhile, we were picking away at my other car, and we came out and ran in SS2000 the first year, and I think ended up 4th or 5th, and we had a few dramas, and so that was cool. That was our first year, and then we developed a car that really lit the competition up the next time we went out. So you know, I think, can't remember how many race wins I had that year, but it would have been 14 race wins, 2-lap records that have been standing for a while. Yeah, well, we came out and
So you
got stuck in.
achieved those goals that you had set.
Yeah.
Did you feel at any point they were unachievable?
No, absolutely not. It's knowing the right people, putting the right plan in place, and preparation.
Okay, and did you always stick to the rotaries? Has it always been rotaries?
Absolutely.
All the way through?
Yep.
Why?
Just something about them. It's different. I guess, you know, I've always been a fan since I was a teenager, so yeah, it's just something different.
What kind of ribbing have you got from your racing buddies out there?
Oh, most of them are into rotary, so it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, especially in the Pro 7s, obviously.
Yeah. And I think there's a bit of there's the underdog thing with the rotaries. You know, they're a little engine, the little engine that can. You know, they're only a small capacity engine, but you can get plenty of performance out of them, and not super expensive. You know, it's not like modifying. Like if you wanted to get 300 horsepower out of a 2-litre, you know, Ford engine or a Nissan engine or something naturally aspirated, it'd be a big dollar motor. You know, for a rotary, you can do that relatively cheaply.
So you didn't grow up in a motorsport family.
No.
They're on the field, and obviously support from the family, go out there because you got to a good level in cricket.
Yep.
You have a family now. How are they in motorsport?
Yeah, we've got a go-kart at home.
Okay. Now, was that a suggestion heavily from father, or did you let the kids decide?
They've grown up at the racetrack, so you know that was natural for them. So we got a go-kart, and the older boy Liam is not super keen. I think, you know, he might come into it a little bit later on. My younger boy Kelly's pretty keen on it.
Okay.
But I've been pretty mean. I've been holding them off.
Do tell.
You know, Dad wants to finish his.
I see
it's
you're
very tough to do both, and I've seen a lot of dads out there who've been race car drivers, and then the kids come into it, and their car's just gone.
Right.
You know, and you focus on the kids, which is great. So their time is coming.
Yes. But at the moment, you've got every right to be selfish.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to finish what I want to do. You know, I've got a couple more things that I really want to do.
Okay, what are they?
Well, I've built this car here for GD2. Mm-hmm. It's running a naturally aspirated 3-rotor engine in it, which there's no one else running one in New Zealand at the moment. And we want to go out and light it up with that.
Now, you're saying GT2.
Yep.
Do you not think it's GT1?
We don't want to be in GD1.
Okay.
We cannot compete with what those boys are doing. I don't have the budget for that.
Then where? Let's say you clean up in GT2. Let's look at this goal setting that your personality tends to lean towards, this goal setting.
Yes.
You win GT2, what next?
That's going to be it.
Okay.
Craig, for me, yeah. I mean, this car here, I remember Mark Porter running a car in the mid-90s, and it was Mazda backed, so it had all the Mazda gear in it. It had a factory 3-rotor engine in it, had a Hollinger gearbox, and it was unbelievable. First car I ever saw go Rimpoki in under a minute. And I remember going down the track, and I knew the guy servicing it, so I got to have a crawl on it and have a look, and that was the bee's knees. And I said to myself then, if I ever get the chance, that is my car. That is my dream car, right there.
So that's your pinnacle?
Absolutely. This car here, the FD body shape with the 3-rotor engine in it, is my dream car.
I would normally say to people, or ask them the question of who their childhood heroes in motorsport would be. You never had any, because you were out on cricket fields and football fields.
I was never one of those kids that watched Bathurst or...
So in your 20s, you're suddenly learning all about motorsport from scratch.
Yep.
Who did you latch onto as a hero in motorsport? Did you have any?
Greg Murphy.
Right, you were a Murphy
watching,
man.
You know, going to Pukekohe and watching the V8s when he was dominating.
Okay.
And I remember sitting up on the hill with all the fans, and that race that finished in the near dark, you know, we were there, and it was just amazing. And he was the man, you know. And I've met Greg a couple of times, and he's a really nice bloke. When
your kids decide or don't decide to go kart racing and then step the level up, you're going to be one of those dads who's going to go through and manage their way and stay off the tools, of course. Yeah.
I'll get someone else to do that.
Stay off the tools.
We've already had that problem at the go-kart track.
I can imagine it happening now, just talking to you. I can imagine that. You're going to then stick with road cars? You're going to keep your road car buzz going like you used to have?
Yeah, absolutely. I've still got a collection of old Mazdas that I drag out on the weekends occasionally and have a fang in.
So that's still a thrill for you?
Yeah, definitely.
And what about the wife? Is she into those? Come for a ride on a Sunday and we'll go to a cafe in Thames or something?
Yeah, she's put up with me for this long.
I'll put up with you.
Yeah, no, I'm so super lucky because my wife has supported me all the way, and she has put me in front of her own hobbies all these years, and we've finally got to the stage where she's bought herself a pony and has gone back horse riding, which is what she did when I first met her 20 years ago, and it's great. So she's got her thing.
The accident that happened,
yes,
and the potential for complete disaster.
Yeah.
But it was okay in the end, and you're now having to deal with the recovery.
Mm-hmm.
That's a stress on her, obviously.
Yes.
Does she look at your boys and go, actually, I don't want them in karting at all?
Yeah, we had that discussion when I came home after the crash.
Right.
Because I said to my family, you know, if you guys vehemently are against me going back in a car, then I'll call it quits here. Mm-hmm. We'll stop right now, because I still wanted to get back in a car.
Yep.
It was in hospital, sitting there in the hospital bed going, my car's nearly finished, I want to get back in it and go back racing. If I get back in the car and in a racing situation and I feel uncomfortable, I'm going to get out.
Okay.
I haven't been there yet. I've
Right.
done a few test days and it feels good.
So now we know that you are not a child prodigy in motorsport.
No.
We know that you've had one of the biggest accidents in New Zealand motorsport. And
Yeah.
walked flowing away from it.
Yeah, limped.
Limping still now, but you're
Yeah.
okay. You've got boys who are possibly thinking about going karting.
Yep.
And you're still racing a car. We're almost starting a little heritage here, aren't we?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
the start of it.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
then when you become a grandfather, maybe you could be going to the track watching your grandkids racing.
That'd be fantastic. You know, there's nothing better. I mean, my children have grown up at the racetrack and they love it. Absolutely love it. And, you know, we make it sort of like a mini holiday. So we go away and we rent a nice house or stay in a nice motel, and the boys come to the track and they love it. So, you know, hopefully it'll continue.
Look, your passion for motorsport is outstanding. The fact that you're willing to get back in a car after what happened is another outstanding point. So having this short chat with you, a bit of your time, has been quite a pleasure.
Brilliant.
So thanks for that, and good luck in the GT2 with your 3-rotor, naturally aspirated opposition killer.
I like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Craig.
No worries.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Grill. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and of course check out our Facebook page. Until next time, bye bye for now.